today I'm going to talk about the long anticipated movie Avengers Endgame. Now, this is going to be a spoiler free review for the first couple of minutes, and then I'm going to be like, stop, spoilers. So, I have been a fan of these movies since the Iron Man movie came out, 11 years ago. It's been a long journey. I've been waiting for this. I literally spent all this week so anxious and just like wanting to see the movie and know what happened. Like, I was so scared I was gonna get spoiled before I saw it. Luckily, I avoided it, but it was a long journey, and I'm happy to say I survived. I even did Captain America inspired nails because he's my favorite. Hulk actually used to be my favorite. No, it was Iron Man was my favorite, and then Hulk was my favorite, and now, I don't know, as I get older, just Cap more and more becomes my favorite. The more movies he does, the more he becomes my favorite. I personally think he has some of the best character development, because honestly, I thought he was kind of boring in the beginning, but now I'm absolutely in love with him. So yeah, I did Captain America inspired nails. I wore a Captain America shirt, and I had some Groot knee-high socks because I love Groot. He's adorable. I've loved him since the first Guardians. But anyway, I've been really excited for this movie, and it lived up to my expectations. Honestly, I was worried that a 3-hour movie was going to be too much for me and it would drag, but nothing dragged. It was non-stop excitement for 3 hours, and I honestly, it didn't even feel like 3 hours. It whooshed on by. It honestly went too fast, and I didn't want it to be over. I was also worried that I was going to have to go to the bathroom too many times, but only once. Great. Talking about my bathroom habits on YouTube. Good job, Jessica. But honestly, the acting was amazing. It was just the music. I listened to the Avengers theme song on a loop all day yesterday, and it's just the music is so impactful, especially in this movie, and just the way they section out the parts of the movie was just so great, and everybody's acting was Oscar worthy in this movie. It's always great, but this is just next level, and everyone's matured so much throughout the series. It's just it was great to see them on this journey, and it was just so good. I'm serious. If you love Marvel, you need to see this movie. Obviously, I recommend that you watch all the other 20-something MCU movies first, because you're not really going to understand a lot of the context if you don't. So definitely I suggest that first. But once you have watched those, definitely go see this movie. Or if you don't finish the movies until it comes out on Blu-ray, rent it when it comes out on Blu-ray, because you will not be disappointed. It is a perfect ending to an amazing story arc, and I cannot recommend it enough. It is. I bought my tickets 2 weeks ago. That's how excited I was. I bought it 2 weeks ago, and there's still only a few seats left. That's how excited people have been. It's boom, boom, boom. We're going to buy our tickets as soon as possible because we can't wait. Now, okay, this is going to get spoilery. If you haven't seen Infinity War and Endgame, stop right here. I'm warning you. Spoilers ahead. Okay, so when Infinity War ended with, half the population fading to dust, I was devastated, especially because some of my favorite characters were gone, like Bucky, and basically all the Guardians except Rocket, and just so many people were gone. Oh, Spider-Man, obviously. That was one of the most heartbreaking ones. It was just, I was not emotionally prepared for what would happen. I was not prepared for them to literally Thanos in the first 30 minutes of the movie. It was crazy. And let me just say that I had a theory a while back that they were going to go back in time to some of the past scenes from some of the past movies, and I was like, ha ha ha, I was right. I kept saying to that theory, people were like, no, they wouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. I was right, and I was so excited I was right. I literally, though, the whole 3 hours, I was having a panic attack because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I don't think I've ever felt this intense amount of emotions during a movie before. I was on the edge of my seat. I had no idea what was going to happen at all. The trailers gave no allusion to anything. It was just, I felt so much anxiety and then so much depression when it was over. Anyway, another thing I will say about this movie is that this movie actually like made me fall in love with Nebula. I never really like thought much of her as a character, even in her kind of becoming closer to Gamora in the Guardians movies. I just never really cared. But in this movie, she really showed her character development and her true colors by siding with the Avengers. Like, I actually felt for her a great deal in this movie. And I don't know, maybe it's Karen Gillian, I don't know, acting, and just made me fall in love with Nebula. But it was just like, her character development was just so great in this movie, and I just really felt for her, and I really actually ended up really liking her in this movie. What I didn't expect, definitely also, besides them killing Thanos so soon, was the 5-year time jump. I was not expecting that at all. It really shocked me, but honestly, it was kind of necessary, because obviously we don't want to just see them moping around for a long time before they figure out what to do. And so, I mean, you know, what else? Oh, I was kind of disappointed that Captain Marvel was only in like 15 minutes total of the movie, because they kind of alluded her being a bigger part of this, but I guess, you know, she wasn't really a part of their family. She was kind of just the extra boost of strength they needed to get done when they needed to get done. So I guess it kind of made sense that she wasn't in a whole lot of it, but I don't know, after how much people loved Captain Marvel and how everybody thought that she was going to be the key to everything, I just expected her to be in it more. But I mean, it is what it is. But the time travel rules are a little, like, they leave a lot to the imagination and interpretation, which is fine. I eventually, through some thinking, kind of figured out the rules and figured out why things ended up the way they were and whatever. But at the start, I was a little confused. But I feel they did a good job at, like, alluding to the rules of time travel and like giving us hints on how it really works and why things ended up the way they did. But time travel itself is in stuff can always be confusing and have the potential to just like not make sense, but I feel like they did a pretty good job at subtly kind of revealing the rules of the time travel in this universe. But some people are complaining that they thought it didn't make sense, but after some thought, I really think that it does make sense. Like, you know, when they do things, it just creates another timeline, but what happens in their timeline still happens. Nothing changes in theirs. It just affects other timelines and creates other timelines. But anyway, I won't get into that. I got chills during the moment when everybody came back, and they had like literally Doctor Strange like portaled everyone there, and everyone just poured in together to fight past Thanos, who was coming back to try and do what he did all over again. I loved it. It was such a powerful moment, especially when all those girl heroes were all together fighting together. But it was such a powerful, like, fan service perfect moment, and like it's just like the perfect moment for someone who is a huge fan of this like me. It was just amazing, and I get chills listening to the music that was played during that scene. It was so powerful. And like the part where Captain America is revealed to be worthy of Thor's hammer was one of the greatest moments in movie history ever, in my opinion. It was amazing. It was badass. My brother literally lost his freaking mind and clapped and cheered and was like, yeah! Like, I'm not someone who likes to scream and yell and woo in public during a movie, but I was very tempted because it was bad ass. Like, bad freaking ass. And then my favorite comedic part of the movie is obviously the whole Captain America having America's ass. Because one, I agree, because have you seen Chris Evans' butt? But it was just like, it was a nice comedic little moment. I felt like Ant-Man, like, saying stuff like that and everything, like, he brought a lot of comedy to this movie. I also, side note, I appreciated kind of them bringing depth to Hawkeye, because I feel like they really didn't do his character justice in these movies. I love the Hawkeye comics, and I really don't think that they treated him very fairly in these movies, but I was very happy that they kind of gave his character depth in, they gave his character depth in this movie. But, about the ending. Literally the moment that haunts me and just got me so much, and I can't stop thinking about it, is when Doctor Strange looks at Iron Man and just holds up the one. And we know what that means. Iron Man knows what that means, and it's just a powerful, unspoken moment in that movie, and I loved it so much. And yes, I am very sad that Tony Stark is gone, but what he did was amazing and badass, and I don't think anyone else could have done it. I mean, obviously, this is Doctor Strange's one timeline where everything goes the way it's supposed to and everyone wins, but, like, it was just, I couldn't see it any other way, and honestly, I was kind of hoping, because they kept zooming in on Tony's face, that maybe he wasn't going to die after all, but it is what it is, I guess. I feel like they did his death really well, and I really loved that Cap stayed back in time and got to be with Peggy, because from the beginning I've wanted him to be able to be with her, because he's just such a good guy and just so amazing, and he deserves it, and Peggy deserves it. And I don't know, it was just, the whole movie was everything I ever wanted. Am I depressed and incredibly sad and heartbroken that these 11 years of movies are over, that this story arc is over, that we may never see some of these actors as these characters again? Yes, I am incredibly sad about it, but I'm also so grateful that we were given these 20-something movies in this amazing universe that I feel like changed film forever. I feel like people are finally taking, nerdy things like comics and superheroes and stuff seriously, and these MCU movies, like, they prove to the world that comics and superheroes can be legitimate filmmaking, legitimate movies, and they can make an impact, and it's not just for the super nerds anymore, it's for everybody, and everyone can enjoy it. It was just so impactful, and I just can't say enough about it. So, obviously, if you've watched to this part, you've seen the movie, and I hope you liked it as much as I did.